family, friends. This is the Mark Inspire Show, day 1834 in a row.
Road today, looking for another way to ease my mind and help my living.
Ease my mind. Help my living. I think that's what we're all after, 2024, a way to ease our minds, to help our living. Welcome to the longest running daily opportunity to find that. This is a new show in the morning. I've been live at night for the last 5 years, and I realize I'm never going to get through the wall of whatever the hell they have for me back there. So I'm trying to bring the show to the morning. It is an inspiration and positivity show, so why am I live at the end of the day when everyone's going to sleep? I'm inspiring people as they go to bed. And then the next day, as you know, when people wake up, they're looking for whoever's live or the content from today. So I've probably been missing mostly everybody the last 5 years. 4,000 pieces of content. We have 9 feature films on YouTube and 209 songs on iTunes and Spotify as Mark Pyers. If you want to check out my music, this is one of my songs right here.
Roll on by, no offense, that's just me living. So many perfect ways to spend your days, it hit me. Whoa, there's something to live for,
Guys, there is absolutely something to live for. I wrote that song in 2006, and it's on my very first album that I released. I've released 16 albums in total. I have a new one coming out very soon, and we have over 1,000 songs created live in the moment here on this channel. And they all are just like this. They're filled with passion and truth and love. And just in case you understand this, everything I write and play is at 432 hertz, which is a healing frequency. So if you happen to tune into my live show and I'm holding that guitar and I'm playing my invention, the BeatSeat, I'm playing everything at you and it's being sent to you at 432 hertz. Now, if you don't understand what that means, everybody else on earth that you listen to, all your favorite music comes at you at 440 hertz. 440 hertz does not jive well with human beings mentally. And 432 hertz literally heals people. So you tell me, a guy who's live every day of existence playing music at you at 432 hertz, passionate music in the moment with the creator, or I'm going to listen to Taylor Swift at 440 hertz. You guys do what you want, man. But I'm here writing songs in the moment for you at 432 hertz. I'd much rather be there. I am here. I'm not listening to any other crap. It's funny, but when I'm not here writing songs for you live in the moment at 432 hertz, I'm editing said songs from the shows so I could release them for you. And I'm always listening to 432 hertz. Yeah, I'm listening to myself. That's a little weird. No, it's not. I write songs every night. If I don't listen to myself, it will be lost to time. There's 1,000+ songs on the platform. I only have 209 out. That means 780 songs, 790 songs are sitting on the Mark Inspires channel, and I'm all alone. I can't go back and get them all. I need an editing team to go back and say, look, we're going to sift through all these shows and find the 4 songs you wrote that night and the 2 songs you wrote another night and 1 song you wrote this night, because they're all there and they're fire, but they're not done. I wrote them live in the moment. If you're new to the show, what you understand, and last night you may have seen this if you found it, I start with a concept. It's a riff, and then from there I add a bass line, and then I add something else because I have a guitar synthesizer. And then I add my invention, the BeatSeat. It's the only drum in the world for guitar players. You sit on this thing, you kick it, you hit it with your hands, and it sounds like a drum kit. It inspires. I'm here to inspire, but this drum inspires me every single day to write music. Because having another musician in the room with you is creativity in itself. There's an energy coming at you. This drum right here is the other musician in the room. Yeah, I'm all alone here for 5 years every single day. But when I write a song for you, I'm not alone. I've got the power of the BeatSeat under me. The power of this other musician adding creative juice, creative magic to the song. And so it's funny, but I always thought being able to loop and then adding a guitar and then another guitar and then a bass, that's doing it too. It's like you have these other musicians adding a little bit more to the mix. You got this witch's brew of all these different instruments coming together. I never had percussion. I always had to beatbox. I'm a terrible beatboxer. It's a drum kit in a box. It's the only drum in the world you could sit completely upright and play with your hands and your feet at the same time without using any pedals. You don't need any other equipment but the BeatSeat. There's a grab and go bar in the back. You stick your arm in the back, you grab the bar, and you take it, your guitar in the other hand, and you go. This is your best friend in the world. When you go to a party, you walk in with a BeatSeat in your guitar. You don't just walk in with a guitar. You sit down on your own seat designed for guitarists. There's a thing called a cajon right now, but it makes you sit like this. And you got to bend over to play it. Oh, I'm going to hurt my back after 10 minutes. The BeatSeat, I'm sitting upright completely. I'm jamming, kicking it with my feet. Double-decker style, kick, snare. And then have another snare. 2 snares, unlimited tones. A cajon has 2 tones. Everybody buys cajons. I'm like, what are you buying? I have the cajon on steroids here. And people are like, let me get a cajon. I'm like, what? Guys, get a cajon on steroids. It's called the BeatSeat. BeatSeat.rocks. I'll build it for you. I actually invented this. I patented it. And then I'm the only person in the world you could get it from because I'm the patent owner. And I build them here right downstairs. So a new thing I'm going to be doing here on this show is, for example, if Sam or Deanna decided to order a BeatSeat from BeatSeat.rocks, and that order comes through while I'm live on the show, for example. Oh, guys, look, I just got an order for a BeatSeat from Deanna on BeatSeat.rocks. We're going to be building Deanna's BeatSeat live during the Mark Inspire show, so tune in. And we did that a couple weeks ago where I built this BeatSeat right here. I built that thing live during the show about a month ago. You can go and watch it. But what's cooler is I'd be building Deanna's BeatSeat. Deanna could watch her BeatSeat being built out of wood that I cut. Wait, what? You cut the wood? Yeah, I cut the wood out of a log in the backyard. Tell me an origin story better than this. Guy invents drum to be a solution to a problem he's having. He can't put on a live show as a one-man band properly because a cajon is not designed for a guitar player. It's underneath you. I only know this because I built myself a cajon in order to try to see if I could do this in the first place, and that's what led me to my invention. Jeremy Vish, it's good to see you, my friend. And good to see you, Modoc Roughstock, my brother. So basically, the bottom line is this with this cajon, it sits underneath you, and you have to bend over to play it. And that hurts your back after a while, I would imagine. But the bigger problem for me is there's only 2 tones. You may be able to try to get a little variation out of those 2 tones, but it's 2 tones. 1 bass, 1 snare, and that's it. And so I tried to build that thing, and it just didn't work because you have to kick backwards to play your guitar. It's like, it's totally mental. And this is like, you still have to kick it, so you're kicking sideways. You're using your heels as a hinge, your toes as a hinge, and just using your heels to kick the sides of this thing, and it just sounds amazing. So you're using a full body drum for the first time ever, which is so awesome. Allison Jane, how are you? Good to see you. A full body drumming experience. It's like playing a drum kit, but it's a single box. So I would suggest anybody who's a musician look at it. But outside of that, I just want you guys to know I'm not even focusing on musicians anymore. I'm telling you guys about that because I played here as a musician, but I'm focused on children. I'm focused on anyone with autism, anybody on the spectrum, because this is an extremely powerful sensory therapy drum for anyone with autism, for anybody with a special need. Even with someone with anxiety or dealing with cancer, a BeatSeat could provide you with useful energy in the moment. It could heal you because it's a sensory therapy drum. Everywhere you hit it feels different. And I think I didn't understand this. And I'll tell you the quick story. My daughter had a birthday party, and one of her friends came over who happens to have autism. And her mother pulls me aside because I had a bunch of BeatSeats out, and they're all sitting and jamming on the BeatSeats. And she goes, you know you have a sensory therapy drum? And I go, what? What's that? I literally said, I looked at her, I go, what's that? And she goes, well, my son, because he has sensory disconnect issues, or whatever they call it, sensory perception issues, she said, there are these different percussion drums and different musical instruments that are sensory therapy. So when you actually hit them, you feel there's like a vibrational effect that goes along with it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I got that. I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah, every time I hit it, I feel it. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah. And because I have all these different tones from low all the way up to high, every single tone has a different feeling that comes through your body. And so what I learned is the only drum in the world that you can sit upright and play with your hands, with your feet, and every single tone comes through as a vibration. It is, without doubt, the most powerful sensory therapy drum on planet Earth. And my other disconnect I have for people who are out there trying to work with children or work with anybody who's disconnected is you go into one of these rooms, because I've been seeing this over the last 5 years. You go into these rooms where these people who are having a hard time are sitting with like a music therapist, right? And the music therapist is sitting on a chair with a guitar, and she's singing songs or he's singing songs, and there's all these chairs sitting around, and everyone's holding something different. One guy's got a shaker. The other one's got cymbals. The other one's got a xylophone. And you're like, what is going on here? You're trying to connect people, and then everyone's holding something different. I said, this to me is like the biggest disconnect. How no one's seeing that. You got 5 people sitting around each other all holding something different. You're like, guys, let's connect. I said, here's the solution to your problem. It's called the BeatSeat. You get 12 of them. You sit them in a circle. They're color-coded. You have, hey, everybody play your red panel. Okay, we're playing the center panel. It's the red panel. All right, now guys, slap your blue panel. They're all slapping the blue panel now. It becomes a teaching tool. It's not just a drum, a sensory therapy drum and teaching tool. It's the most exciting drum on the planet. And so, yeah, my shift is not on musicians anymore. Like, musicians, if you're out there and you're not seeing what I'm doing on this thing, writing songs every single night with the power of this drum, you're lost. I don't know what to tell you. You could hear it sounds like a drum kit, and I'm here alone. I don't have a drummer behind me. It's me. It's my freaking feet. You should be ordering one. I can't focus on musicians because they're just not, if they're not buying it, they're not buying it. They'll buy the one sound cajon because people are able to promote it. You know, it's like, here's the other thing you have to realize. When you create a better mousetrap, the people who have the mousetrap don't want you to succeed. And right now, I have a drum that's better than everything else on earth. So all those people that are selling cajons right now are desperately afraid that this is going to become more popular and then they won't be able to sell product anymore. Because why the hell would you want a drum that has 2 tones when this one has unlimited tones and you can sit upright and play without hurting your back? The problem is I'm a guy alone building them downstairs. They're not coming from a factory in China. They're coming from me personally, and they're promoted by me on this show. So, and with 2 people. So you can't ever promote a product and get it out there if you can't get people to see it. But the reality is, and I'm going to drop this later today. I got to go through all this content. I made a ton of phone calls yesterday, and I filmed it all. And it was just me talking to different service providers, autism centers, about the BeatSeat. And the one thing I realized is, oh, there we go. Red, yellow, blue, orange, green, purple. I'm going to color code my kalimba. Yes, Jarma Vicious, you absolutely do, brother. And I'd color code it for you as well, the way I do it if you check out on our website. We do it with all primary colors, just as Jarma Vicious is saying. And basically, it allows it to be a teaching tool, which I think is massive, because we have 5 playable panels. And when you have that many panels, 2 different snares, it's something that you can utilize in a different manner. You know, cajon has 1 panel. It's 1 panel. So, I mean, that to me is like, and again, I thought the cajon was the coolest thing in the world until I invented the BeatSeat. But once I invented it and patented it, I was like, dude, everybody else is crazy to not have a BeatSeat. It's not like you're talking about $5,000 for a drum, because I'm hand building this. There's, you know, you go and buy any drum. In German, maybe people say, I'm not sure where you got your drums from, but in general, you're usually not getting them hand built. They're usually done in a factory, and they're done with a CNC machine. There's no heart behind it, you know. And the new thing we have here on the BeatSeat, as I was saying, we have base models where it's just all plywood, you know, materials, top, bottom, everything's plywoods. And then we have our new models, which are hardwood and plywood mix. So your hardwood is all the top, the back, the bottom, the front, and just really, really amazing exotic woods. And the woods, as I said, I have now a couple people in the area when trees are felled, and they'll be like, hey, we got a tree of walnut, you want to come and cut it? And they're not saying, do you want to cut the big log and bring it away? They're like, do you want to come with your Alaskan chainsaw mill and spend 5-6 hours and literally go and cut slabs of wood? Yeah, I'll be there soon. And so I've been doing that now. I got wood in the shed. I got wood downstairs. I got wood everywhere. It's coming out of my friggin' ears because I cut so much of it this summer. Now, I don't think I cut too much. It's just, it takes up a lot of space. You take a log and you cut it into slabs. Then you have to put these little, they're called spacers in between. They call them sticks. I think they're called sticks. I can't think right now. But basically, you pop stickers. You put them right in between. It's like, I use about a 1/2 inch of space so you allow air to properly run through the wood while it's drying, because wood will start to do a lot of this. You know what I mean? It warps. So now we have wood downstairs that is in the drying process. And when it's done, I'll be building BeatSeats for you out of the wood I cut. And so origin story, as I said, the guy who invented it, patented it, and then he builds them. And then on top of that, he decided to start cutting wood and cutting slabs personally. So as far as it goes, whenever you get a drum, that drum came from Connecticut, literally. the wood. And I blood, sweat, and tears cut that wood for you. I didn't order it from a hardware store. I didn't go down to Home Depot and pick up some wood. I literally cut it with my own 2 hands. So check it out at beatseat.rocks. Her, H.E.R, is one of the first artists to be playing with the BeatSeat. And her drummer, Carrington Brown, amazing drummer. He has his own BeatSeat as well. I got to try to reach out to them and see if I can make them a new one, you know? Just now I'm doing with hardwood. I'd love to give her a hardwood BeatSeat and see if she could help us promote it a little bit. There's about 5 or 6 videos of her and her drummer playing it on Vivo, and you could hear this thing. It sounds like a drum kit, guys. There's no two ways to look at it. You can, like, when I kick on this thing, it sounds like a kick drum and a snare, and it's like, oof. Let's see. Jeremy says, repurposed barn wood from demolitions might work, but I like the love and work you speak of. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Repurposed barn wood, it's funny, I thought about that because it's properly dried out. I called a couple places that sell, like, manufacture that old barn stuff. You get the big logs out of the ceiling, the big reel of 300, 400 pieces of wood, 400-year pieces of wood. But I also think when you start to cut that stuff down, it could be tricky because there's a lot of movement over a 200-300 year period on these pieces of wood. They do a lot of bending, and then you're just trying to figure out if you can plane it out, and that's tough. So this way is actually my first run too, Jeremy. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go. I just decided this summer, I'm like, I'm cutting the wood myself. I want this origin story to be even better, So it's like I'm doing the work to make sure I have a few opportunities. And here's the other thing. This is the reality. I'm a real estate agent. I'm not a woodworker who's a logger and cuts wood. I invented a drum for myself that now I'm trying to bring to the world because the world needs it, just like they need this show. And so if it comes down to it being for special needs people and musicians just don't get to it ever, or maybe they do, but it won't be when I'm around. I see a world in 200 years, everyone's playing BeatSeats. I may not get the credit for it, because your patent only lasts for a certain amount of time before people steal it, and they can steal it and they can put out their own BeatSeat. And that kind of suck, and it's going to suck in 4 years, 5 years, whenever that is, when, it becomes open domain, so to speak. So I really do implore you, if you know anybody with special needs, if you know any autism centers, let them know about the BeatSeat. I'm going to be redesigning the entire website to be focused more on people with autism, people with a special need, because that is where the legacy would make more sense. I invented the BeatSeat, and musicians in 500 years are rocking out at coffee shops. That's cool and all, but if in 500 years 20, 30 million people were able to connect with loved ones because of a BeatSeat, yeah, that's what I'm after. So DM, I hear you, buddy. I got to try to do like a discount code for everybody who does support the show. So you could put in something like, Mark Inspires and get a discount for them. I did bring the prices down on the BeatSeats. I'd rather make just a little, like literally not much at all. I mean, I'm hand building these, cutting the wood, buying all the other, snare wire, and the time that I invest is like, it's a lot. It's a lot of time. In fact, I lose money on every BeatSeat because the amount of time I'm putting in, but I'm building them myself. The way you make money when you have a product is you have someone manufacture it. You call someone in China and you say, how cheap can you make me this drum? And they say, oh, well, we could do it for blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, great. We'll set it up. As soon as we get our first order, we'll let you know. And then that's it. Me, I'm like, nope. China, you can go pound sand. This product will be made in the USA. I do it myself right now, and eventually when things get to the point where I can't do it alone, I will hire someone here in the United States of America to build these. And yeah, they'll be a little bit more expensive because of that. But guys, if you're not willing to support this country and support people who are making products in this country, we have a bigger problem on our hands. You won't spend $100 more on something built in the United States as opposed to some piece of shit product built in China? Like, their wood is inferior. I'm cutting the wood out of a log that just fell back there. No, I'm going to buy one because it's $100 cheaper. Yeah, you guys just got the cheap drum, the drum that's made of shit. But it sounds like plastic. Yeah, likely. Every BeatSeat sounds different. This is the coolest thing because every wood sounds different. But they all have one thing in common. They fucking rock, man. Like, no matter what BeatSeat you get, it rocks. It's the funniest thing is that people, well, I want to make sure I get the one with the right tone. I'm like, dude, they're all the right tone. No matter which one you get, you're going to be pumped. Yeah, some of them have a little thicker bass. One of them has really snappy snares, but they all sound ridiculous. And there's none that you would be dissatisfied with because you're doing something you've never been able to do before. Put on a show all by yourself. And in a way, that's pretty unique. You spend X and then you could go out there and make that money back pretty quickly just by booking shows. So, Trish Killian, how are you? Oh, DM, absolutely. I'm happy to autograph any BeatSeat. Oh my goodness, Jarmy, yeah. Jarmy says that his granddaughter will require this drum. I'm sorry to hear if she's dealing with some of the issues that I'm trying to focus in on here. And my heart goes out to anybody who is currently trying to connect with a loved one and they can't. Because I've seen it. I've gone into enough of these facilities now with the BeatSeat and seen how difficult it is for people to connect with a loved one. Some of them are really, really disconnected from this world. And it's sad to see because this is an epidemic, guys. People want to pretend it has nothing to do with bugaboos, but we went from like 12 bugaboos when we were kids to like 90 something these kids are getting now. And now we have this autism rate that's like through the roof. It's now like 1 in 4 kids. So the BeatSeat now, it has to be the product of the year for autism. It has to be because you need to know when there's another product for a cause. Like, I have to imagine, let's just think about this logically. If there are 30 different sensory therapy drums, and they're not, but say there's 30 different sensory therapy drums out there, and people are using them, and you're still having an issue connecting with people, you need to know about number 31. You need to purchase number 31 and see if you could connect. Because this is the first time in the world that you could sit across from someone with the same exact thing, and you could say, let's play the same panel, and right there we're connecting right from the top. So the takeaway was this. Yesterday I made 7, 8 phone calls in a row to these special needs places, autism centers, and I started thinking about something about like call number 5. I was like, if I was calling all these people right now, I'm like, hey, do you want to buy or sell real estate? Do you have a house you want to sell? You looking for a new second home? Anything you could do, any help, anybody there need help with real estate? They would hang up on me. All of those people would have hung up on me immediately. This is soliciting. Don't even bother calling. Every single one of these special needs autism centers, after I gave them my quick pitch, which is super, you'll see this because I recorded it all. After I gave my quick pitch, they were all like, oh, yes, we're very interested in this. Or we'd like to know more about this if you could send us some more information because we are looking for more products. And then one guy goes, wait, so you have a patent on this? I go, yeah, I'm the only place in the world you can get it. And when I realized what that meant, is that these people are all out there trying to find a connection to their these patients. And a guy happens to call in and say, hey, I got a product for you. The first thing they're thinking is, okay, it's probably like everything else. Okay, he's got a product. But when you say you have a patented product that has been proven, and you can play with your entire body, with your hands and feet at the same time, and it has unlimited tones, therefore unlimited vibrational effect. The only response I got from each and every one of them was, we're very interested, we want to know more, and let's see if there's anything we can do here. Now, the big thing I have to focus on, and I don't know if anybody out there knows how to do this, but they've all said, or most of them have said, but when we get to this part of the conversation, if you can get it approved as a medical device, they could just run it through insurance. And then it's like they could order 1,000 BeatSeats. But right now, it's not considered a medical device. It's a musical instrument, but it is a medical device. My wife and I went and dropped off a BeatSeat at a hospital, a nearby hospital, a children's hospital, where there's a ton of kids who are dealing with autism. And when we went in, they told us about this specific little boy who never connects with anything. They can't ever make a breakthrough with him. And so we brought our BeatSeat, the color-coded BeatSeat. We call it it's basically the sensory therapy BeatSeat. And it's primary colors, so it's bright. So right away you're connecting to something, cool colors, nice blue, green, yellow, red, orange, really cool, bright colors. And so they bring the little boy over, who's in a wheelchair, by the way. Keep this in mind. He's in a wheelchair. Little, like, 7-year-old kid. My heart broke. They bring him out, and they're talking to him, and he's just like zoned out. And they sit him on the BeatSeat. Now, what's interesting is the way that the BeatSeat is designed, they have these chairs that they could put in a patient in who has trouble using their body so they won't slide or fall or slump or fall over. And they put this little boy in one of those little seats so he could sit above the BeatSeat but sitting on the BeatSeat. And so basically it's protecting him from falling anywhere. And they started taking his hand and hitting his hand against the center panel and moving the other one and hitting against the side panel. And this little kid, and I wasn't able to film this because it's children, it's HIPAA, all this stuff, but this little boy starts hitting the center snare. He's hitting the side with his hands. And again, it's very jerky because he has a hard time moving his body. And he's hitting this thing, and all of a sudden, a smile flashes across his entire face. And I'm like, this is cool. He's having a good time. I don't think much about this. And I look from him, and I look up, and I look at my wife right next to me, and through my wife, I could see the nurses standing behind her crying. And I'm like, what is, it was like a split second thing. I'm like, what is going on? And I looked, and they're like, immediately, they just turned us and they go, you have no idea. We haven't been able to connect with him at all. This is the first time. And then that's when I realized it. I said, forget musicians. I love playing music with it. I play music with it every single day of my life, but forget musicians. I saw a little boy change in front of my eyes. And it's not going to happen for every little boy. But you need to know about one more tool for people with autism. You need to know that the BeatSeat exists. And you should buy one because they're not that expensive. And the therapeutic value to having the BeatSeat is far beyond just an autistic child. Every soul on earth needs a BeatSeat. You guys don't understand. Like, I got a lot of stress in my life, just like you do. But every single day I'm able to let it all out in this drum with this guitar in my hand and write a song for you. There's something magical to this drum. And it goes back to what I always believed, that I invented this because I was in the moment with the creator thinking, how do I find a solution to my problem? Where I'm a guy alone rocking out and I'm looping, but I don't have percussion. And that visual, I could still remember the moment I saw it in my head. And it was so split second. I built a cajon. I sat on the cajon. I grabbed my guitar, and I'm like, how the hell am I going to play this cajon while I'm sitting on this? I got the guitar. It's underneath me. And so while I'm sitting there, I go like this. I kick it backwards like this a few times. And I was like, that is so goofy. I was like, I can't ever do that. And then I was like, I need something where I can keep my feet on the ground. And I could use my heels to kind of pop into the sides of it. Right there, I saw the BeatSeat in my mind. And I was like, plus, it can't be wide like this, so you're sitting like this. And like, that's very unappealing for a woman who plays cajon, that they have to sit like this all the time and show their crotch. So I want it to be designed like a guitar seat. So I could sit there and play my guitar, and when I want to, I just kick my heels in, and I'm rocking out. And there was born the BeatSeat in that very thought. I built 5 or 6 different models to figure out how to do it. And then once I had it down, I started a patent process. That took me 5 years. 5 years to get a patent, guys. And the amount of money I spent to get the patent is insane. It's insane. So I want to get my money back for the patent. Like, hope I can sell enough to get my money back for my patent. But really, the drum itself, it's an experience I try my best to explain it to you guys. You see me writing songs on it when you come here, and I still have a hard time explaining the magic behind that drum. But it's been the catalyst of over live in the moment on the Mark Inspire show. That was the catalyst. Having this drum there that creates fresh energy and fresh creative ideas. They all come from this drum. Yeah, I'm the one who's implementing it and taking it to a new level with the drum. And that took me time as well. I want people to realize you don't immediately rock out on the BeatSeat. You need to understand how to use it. It's like playing any other instrument. I don't know why I'm having issues here with my feed. And if I get disconnected, guys, I'll be back later on. Why am I seeing this? What is going on here? This is what I'm talking about. We had Optimum come. They booted me I took my service out this weekend, and now it's like, why am I having issues with my feed? This is totally mental. It just like totally bogged out. Guys, if I get disconnected, no, now we're back. It looks like, I don't know what the hell it's doing. It's like sporadically popping in and out. Anyway, hopefully it gets itself corrected. I have one bar, one freaking bar. Unbelievable. Optimum Online, you piece of craps. Like, what is the point of this service if it's so bad? You know, Will, how are you, my friend? Brenda in the house. Yeah, super buffer. It looks like it may have leveled itself out, hopefully, here. So just to finish off the story, when I sat down and visualized the BeatSeat as a horse, essentially, where it's wider at the back, more narrow at the front, so my legs didn't have to sit uncomfortably, and I could build the perfect guitar seat as well as a percussion drum for myself while I play the guitar. That was the birth of the BeatSeat, but also the birth of the only sensory therapy drum on earth that you could play with your entire body. And that's why when I'm sitting here and I'm looping and I'm just jamming out on this thing, you can see how comfortable it is. I could sit on that thing for 10 hours and just jam. I don't hurt my back. And it sounds like a drum kit. So many positives, but for children who are now, or parents who are dealing with a child with a special need with autism, they should all get a BeatSeat. It's like a no-brainer. I sold one to someone about a month ago, and he's got a son with a severe sensory issue. And he was so excited to have it. He sent me a video right afterwards. It was really grainy and pixelated, so I wasn't able to really do anything with it. But Mercury is in square to Neptune, connection issues. Thank you, Suppose3. I'm so glad to see someone on X watching the show. Suppose3, good to see you, my friend. I'm curious how you found the feed on X. I keep wondering when Elon Musk is going to let me out of the hole that I'm in. It's like, I can't understand. This is funny, we were talking about it. It's not even a hole. I got canceled originally in 2019 when I did the Donald Trump show. And it's baffling because if you watch the Donald Trump show, it will just make you laugh. That's it. It's a comedy. But it's the content of the comedy that they have a problem with. It's Joe Biden. They don't want you to know he's brain dead. And I told you in 2019. And if you'd seen that, he never would have been president. And that's why they canceled me. And I realize it. I did the Hunter Biden episode on July. It was the day after OAN did the story. It was in July. For some reason, the media kept it out of the headlines until 2 weeks before the election. But in July, do the